Public shaming has been a part of our society for many centuries, and the internet has only made it easier for us to do. Today, we question whether if it's necessary for us to publicly shame people. Today, we have James McCormick to help introduce that subject to us. James, good to
see you. So, after doing much research on this topic, I have found that, within the majority of your audience and, people in general, there's kind of a split between, some people think that, half the people think that it's actually necessary, and then there's a lot of people that don't think it's very good for society. I think the values that, people who are for public shaming hold are, personal accountability and learning from your mistakes that you've previously committed. And the people who are against it, I feel like they are really sympathetic towards the person who's being publicly shamed. And that's kind of what I've gotten at after all this extended research that I've done. And what I think personally is that yes, some forms of public shaming can be very good and very helpful in personal accountability and learning. It's just self-learning after all of your mistakes. But however, I think that when a lot of people get involved in just shaming one person, the punishment doesn't really fit the crime and is much more severe than the crime that was committed.
So you're saying you go over the top?
Yes, way over the top.
Okay. Now for the audience and my personal sake, why do you think this way?
That's a good question. I think John Ronson on Last Week Tonight, actually, I think he said it best when he said, when millions of people feel the need to weigh in on public shaming, the punishment can be vastly disproportionate to the offense. And when I initially heard that, the first person that really came to mind was Monica Lewinsky and the type of shaming that she went through. And I have a headline with her that says, her and President Clinton next to each other, that says, "Caught in the act." And, she had faced a lot of slut shaming like this over 10 years and over the majority of President Clinton's time as president. And I think the worst slut shaming that she faced was actually from Jay Leno, talk show host, when he said, and I quote him, when he says, 1 million samples of DNA, they said, is the largest collection of DNA in the world, not counting Monica Lewinsky's closet. And he also said, what's going on with Monica, or as Clinton calls her, my little humidor.
Wow, that's pretty severe.
Yeah, right? And, after watching Monica Lewinsky's TED Talk, she explained that, who hasn't done dumb stuff when they're 20, right? And she was just following her heart. She explained that she had deeply fallen in love with the president. And what I've gained from going over Monica Lewinsky's public shaming is that, she really did not deserve the type of shaming that she got. Reporters right on her right after she leaves her house, seeing her just plastered, slut shamed all over national television. That punishment did not fit the offense that she committed at all. And I think that because of all the mass media that was on this topic, it really got out of hand to where she was just slut shamed on such a national level. And to me, that just did not really sit well with me.
Those are some very depressing statements, but you're also for public shaming, right?
Yes, I am. Back to what I previously stated, I do think that a correct form of public shaming can induce self-accountability and self-reflections with your mistakes. Funny story, there was this father of two named Brian Thornhill, who had heard that his son was being a little bully in school. So he did not take this very well, and what he ended up doing is he made his son now run to school rather than his parents drive him, as a form of punishment so that he learns from his mistakes. And I think this is a good form of shaming because, you know, it induces, later in the video that his dad took of him running, he said he's behaving more well in school. His teachers actually like his presence in class now. And, you know, he's learned from his actions. And he doesn't want to get punished anymore. So I think there was a lot of good that was done from that type of shaming. And it wasn't wide scale. You know, he was just running through his little neighborhood. So there's not many people like that could shame him. So yeah, it was shaming on a relatively low scale that proved to be very, very productive for the kid as he was behaving a lot better in school. So what I've gathered from Monica Lewinsky's shaming and the shaming that Brian Thornhill did on his son is that there are two types of shaming. There's good shaming, which is noble and for the personal gain and betterment of one individual. And then there's bad shaming, which is just shaming for the sake of shaming someone. And that bad shaming is what Monica Lewinsky went through.
Do you have anything else to say to our audience and our viewers at home?
Yes, I'll conclude with this. You know, I think we've now all seen what a massive amount of public shaming can do to a person. It could completely ruin their lives. And I think Monica Lewinsky's public shaming is a perfect example of what can happen today in our society, you know, with the mass usage of the internet and just easy communication between people. I think that public shaming can really get out of hand. And you know, I am still for public shaming, just not on such a mass level to where it can get out of hand and can truly damage a person's life.